All right, so now that we have our sketches and drawings, we want to measure the objects that our product is going to be interacting with. So this is the poop roll, and it's pretty generic. They're about all the same size, but what we want to do is take our calipers and measure. And if you don't have calipers, you can use your ruler and just measure in inches or in centimeters. But for this, we're going to measure, and it is, let's see, roughly 60 millimeters. You can see there, kind of 60 millimeters. So that's our height. So go ahead and write that down. You could just do roll, and then height is 60. And then we want to measure the radius, or the round part right here. And I'm going to give it a little bit of, just a little bit of wiggle room. And that is 30. I don't know if you can see that. So 30 roughly. So we'll write that down, and we'll do width is 30. So that way, when we go into Blender, we can essentially create this cylinder in the software exactly to measurement or to scale. And the next thing we're going to measure is the leash. So the leash we're going to use in Blender to kind of use it just for a reference. So we're just going to measure this part here, the width here. So that looks about 25, 26, somewhere in there. So we'll do, on our notes, we'll just do leash, and then width, W is 26. Now we also want to measure the thickness of it. So at this part where the product will go, roughly, let's give it a little bit of wiggle room. It's about 1, 2, 3. It's kind of hard to see there, but 3 millimeters is all we need. So we'll just do thickness 3 millimeters. So that's give us our width is 26 millimeters and the thickness is 3 millimeters. And now what we need to measure for is the thumb. We want to be able to put our thumb in here to grab the leash. So I'm just going to measure my thumb and just kind of get a ballpark. I have a pretty large hand or thumb, so that is 22. So we're looking at 22 millimeters wide for the thumb. So I'm just going to write down that thumb, and then the width is 22 millimeters. And it's good just to write it down. You could try and memorize it in your head, but you will quickly forget. So it's always good practice to write these numbers down and just use them as reference if you need them. So now we've got our measurements. Let's go ahead and jump into the next lesson and start designing.